Hi Jags fans, it's Andy the Mackem Jag. Latest vlog to discuss all things Partick Thistle over the last week or so. Quite a lot to cram in, so I'll make a start. Amongst the sort of variety of league results we've had over the last week, I think something really important stood out, and it's the absolute generosity of Colin Weir with regards to our wonderful football club. The guy's an absolute legend. You know, he's invested a fair whack of money already in the club, and to buy the club and you know, basically arrange such giving to the fans in March is just probably the best Christmas gift we can get. Obviously bar getting promoted and winning a trophy, but Colin, you know, your generosity hasn't gone unnoticed. The fans have got so much respect for what you've done. You are truly a Jag to the core, and thank you so much for what you're doing for our football club. It's absolutely outstanding. And rest assured, my numbers ever come up on the lottery, whether I'd win as much or not, I'd certainly be investing in this football club. Never invest in Sunderland, but I'd certainly invest in the wonderful Jags. So, Colin, thank you very much for that. Just a quick mention to a new friend of mine, a lad called Jojo, who was up for the Dunfermline match. Walked back through the park, got the train with him back to Edinburgh. Fantastic guy. Jojo, thank you for your company. It was great having a chat with you, and you know, it just made the journey back so much better. And there was also the big guy at the front at the Dunfermline game. Felt pretty much like me, not a happy bunny on the day. No shortage of abuse towards our very, very underperforming players. And he said I know where he sits in the John Lambie stand. It was great seeing you, mate. You know, I'm not sure it was your wife who was with you. Lovely lady. Great set of people you're with. And again, thank you for your hospitality. It was marvellous. Just goes to show what a great bunch of people we are. Whether we're English, Scottish, whatever, we're Jags. On the footballing front, Dunfermline, what a day. What an absolute awful day. I got up, train was late into Edinburgh, but not so late I'd missed my connection, which was cancelled. So a trip to Inverkeithing on the bus, then a wander about Inverkeithing to try and find a bus stop at Dunfermline. Ended up with this weird Vote Labour guy with a t-shirt and nothing else on, just about freezing cold, but in fairness the guy did show us where to go, and thank you for that. I think his name was Dave, he's well known in those parts. Got us through, got through 3 o'clock, so I'd missed the kick-off. Bus just pulled out. It would have taken us down to the ground, East End Park, wait for the next one, 10 past, reached the ground about 18 minutes past, to be met by the steward, who I asked, can I still get in? I've travelled a long way. He says, of course you can. He says, do you want to go in? I said, of course I want to go in. I said, why wouldn't I? I've come all this way. He says, well, you're 2-0 down to 10 men. Yeah, funny, ha, great joke, you know, joke's on me. Right, seriously, can I buy a ticket and go in? He said, seriously, do you want to save 20 quid? I said, you're not kidding, are you? He says, no, I'm not. And of course, as I walked in, they scored the 3rd goal, and probably about 40 or 50 Jags fans walked out. Oh dear me, what a disastrous day that was. You just pray days like that are one-offs, but they're happening too often. Morton put 3 passes in relative short space of time. Ayr United 4-1, an absolute trouncing. It seems away from home, if we do, you know, keep the opposition down to a goal well in the second half, we seem to be good at turning games round. But that was one hell of a defeat. I was going to say there wasn't a single player on the pitch that I would give the pickings out my backside for based on that result. But I thought Reece Cole doesn't give up, and it was a beautiful free kick. And to be honest, to me, the player of recent weeks has been the young lad, Kakai. You know, he never gives up. He's not the world's best defensive player, but he's great going forward. He puts defenders under pressure. And I thought in the 70 minutes that I managed to get for me, 70 quid, so it was like £10, you know, for every 10 minutes of the game for me. He put on a decent performance, but the rest, to be honest, lads, you should be hanging your heads in shame, despite what happened yesterday. That was a disgrace. It was a freezing cold day. It was awful. Hundreds of us made the journey. In my case, it was a long, long journey, very expensive one as well, and it was just not good enough. And I like what Ian McCall said, the guy who works for Jags Zone, who always tries to see positives. Sometimes, mate, you better not even try looking for them. They're simply not there. It was awful. And Ian McCall said there's nothing I can take from this game, and he was right. Okay? At 20-5 yesterday, I was basically writing an obituary for Partick Thistle Football Club. I couldn't see us staying in the league. 20 minutes later, we won the game 2-1. Now, I admit I haven't even seen the highlights yet. Just got back from my mum, so plan to do that next. But thought I'd get the vlog done first. It's seasonal. And but at the end of the day, a win's a win. So like I say, away from home, we either get stuffed or we seem to pull it out the fire towards the end of the game. So that was a really important result. It puts us second bottom. Had we lost that game, I've got no doubts whatsoever that even whatever we did in January, I didn't see us getting back out of that. So there's a little bit of hope there. What needs to happen? In a nutshell, major investment in January, and according to the board's latest statement during the week, you know, Ian has identified people that he'd like to bring in the club, and to the best of my knowledge, you know, Colin, the board, have basically said, yep, okay, we're going to back you as a management team. And I could just hope that we get the likes of, you know, of a Scott MacDonald or a Stevie Anderson in January, because without that, to be honest, getting out of the bottom two with this current squad, it would be a tremendous achievement. I think they're that bad. Whenever I see a certain two names in the pre-match team sheets, and I see a certain two central defenders' names come up, I just know that we have to score 2 goals. And again, it was proven yesterday. We went one down and we had to score 2. Fortunately, we did. Those 2 guys are not going to work as central defence for our football club. They're simply not good enough. Jamie Penrice is having a dreadful season. Not showing the promise he showed last season. As I say, I can't fault Reece Cole or Kakai at this moment. They're both doing an awful lot for players that are simply there on loan. Kenny Miller, I've never quite worked out where he's meant to be all season. And as the big lad at the Dunfermline game said, basically his standards are dropping. He seems to have become, you know, Partick Thistle of the blood. In other words, he's not as good as he used to be. And that'd be a great shame if that's the case. Zanata, completely off the boil, you know, almost a waste of time. I'm not quite sure what he's contributing. Stuart Bannigan, nothing much really. You know, we can talk about going a man down away from home and life's difficult, but really to lose 5-1, and for to me, a very average striker. I know he's had a good week this week, scored the winner at Ayr as well, scored yesterday and got sent off by that Kevin Nisbet. You know, let's be honest, he wouldn't get in the reserves at most English League 2 clubs, never mind, you know, Rangers or somebody being after him. He's a very average striker, but against us, very average strikers score a lot of goals. And if we keep shipping goals the way we have been, even despite yesterday's result, this season isn't going to get any better. I'll tell you that now, it just will not get any better. So what am I hoping for? You know, some potentially good signings in January, certainly at least steady the ship. If we can have a second half of the season that brings us safety. I've given up on the playoffs as well, I don't mind admitting that. I can't see it happening, even in this strange league. I just don't think we're consistent enough. And win the Challenge Cup, because that's really our chance for a trophy. If we can get that day out, win that cup, I would be overjoyed and stay in the championship. And then really judge Ian McCall and the team on the following season. Okay? Because frankly, you know, you look at his record in the initial games, it's a much stronger away record, but it's not really much better at home. It hasn't improved a great deal. I'm never quite sure what pattern we're playing with. It still looks to be a lot of square pegs and round holes. But we give the guy a chance, you know, he's Thistle to the bone. But at the end of the day, would I rather a guy who's Thistle to the bone doesn't get us anywhere, or somebody new's brought in and we progress and challenge to get back in the Scottish Premiership? For me, it's the second. You know, love your club, I love the guy, thank you for coming. But if he can't turn around that with his own signings in January, then he isn't the right man for the job at this particular time. But fingers crossed, you know, come on. I'm looking on the negative side there. We had a win yesterday. We're through the semi-finals of the Challenge Cup. We're now second bottom. That should be enough for an open top bus tour down Mary Hill Road. You know, get the drinks out. But seriously though, we really do have to string 3 or 4 wins together. And to, you know, describe recent form as having been a good run. You know, we beat Stenhousemuir, third bottom I think in League 2. We should be beating Stenhousemuir. Pennycook. What the lads were telling us when I came up to Dunfermline was that wasn't a simple game. In fact, we're pretty rubbish, to be honest. Most people agreed that, you know, had they put us under a bit more pressure and the game lasted a bit longer, we could have thrown that away. The Celtic Cup draw, unbelievable. You know, I'm thinking to myself, will it be a lunchtime or 3 o'clock kick-off? 5:30.